in Strasbourg. Steve here with us to talk now about the game. Welcome back, gentlemen. Mo, another entertaining night of Champions League football.
Yeah, but I actually want to... Didn't you say that you were sure that Sancho doesn't train well at Man United?
So, again, what I said when that story came out is that there had been multiple stories from multiple clubs that he has been at, plus international football, that stated that there had been issues with training. So my belief was that accusation holds water. However, what you would have heard me say on many, many shows when all the stories about him eating in his car and not being able to train with the first team came out, I said that treatment of him was disgusting. So just because I believe that one element about a player wasn't particularly great at the club, and that's what I mean by I think players have got to take responsibility at times. You know, Marcus Rashford going out drinking a night before training in Belfast, we know he did that because there was video evidence of it, but I'm going to criticize him for that individually. Does that make sense? So with Jadon Sancho, do I believe there was probably some training ground issues? Yes. Why did they exist though? Probably because he was sick and tired of being at the football club and the problems surrounding it. Yeah.
My point about Jadon Sancho is that I actually have a completely different theory, to be honest. I actually believe it's England. It's him being around friends. The kid looks way fitter. The kid looks way more athletic. That run that he did, or he cooked Mendes on that right side, right? I'm like, he didn't do that at Man United. He couldn't run like this. And it has to be training, of course, because you're fit. That means you train better. So I believe that. But it might not be down to him. It might be down to the environment he was put at. It might be down to fame in England and how he was treated when he first joined and all the propaganda around him. And the kid looks so fit and so focused in the game that this is not the same guy that was at Man United. Somebody should pay for this because this is a brilliant talent that went to Man United again and it didn't pay off. That the investment that Man United did, someone really should pay for this because the kid looked absolutely fantastic. He looked like, as you said, the best player on the pitch. Everybody watched that. He looked like the best player on the pitch. And it's not only that the best player technically, he looks like the best player even in athletic. This guy, the kid that run the left back, is a very athletic left back.
Very good.
At the end, Jadon Sancho, every time he got him, he had him on toast. The kid didn't know what to do. Someone should pay for this, in my opinion. I don't know who, right? Because Jadon Sancho looks so different. He looks so good. And I don't know, by the way, if it's Man United's fault or the people around him or the people that advise the guy, or maybe in Germany they're more strict than England. But that is something that Man United themselves should look at. Because if I'm watching this kid now and I'm a Man United fan, right? And I'm like, should we really talk about his ability and his in the environment and all the stuff? So this is what I'm looking at. Maybe you have a good talent in your hand. Maybe you have a really good talent and you just need to maybe the back room. Okay, let me just put it this way. If the environment gets better, maybe you're gonna get to see this Jadon Sancho at your club.
But this is exactly the point. And so maybe this is just how I look at everything. So look at Jose Mourinho as an example. I agree with Jose's advocates that they should have listened to him with the setup the club had at the time. When he said, I want Pogba and Martial gone, they should never have gone behind his back and said no and given the players that power over him. I agree. Jose's reaction to that in terms of how he started talking about Martial in public, talking about Pogba in public, what he said about Luke Shaw in public, the way he behaved, that wasn't acceptable either. And he created a position where his situation was untenable. Do I believe there were some training ground issues with Jadon Sancho, as in effort he put in or listening to what he was being asked to do? I don't disbelieve that. I don't believe that was made up. However, so that element of Jadon Sancho, he should have still been, in my opinion, working as hard as possible and listening to instruction every day, even if he wasn't particularly happy. But I understand why he wouldn't. And this is the problem with Manchester United fans. Everything, and you see it in the comments right now, is always so black and white, and nuance goes missing. Yes, Sancho was rightfully criticized at times. Yes, Sancho was often, though, scapegoated by certain people. Yes, the manager's definitely made mistakes with him. Multiple things can be true at exactly the same time. But what you are seeing here is a very talented player who's now in an environment where he feels comfortable, he feels confident. No one quite knows exactly what it is. There'll be theories behind that. But at the end of the day, what we saw from him tonight, when we take it back to what really matters, and that's the football, was an excellent player turning up in a Champions League semi-final. And I thought it was a brilliant.
Can I add one more thing? I always said that for the people that backtrack and say that Jadon Sancho should have stayed, have you seen Jadon Sancho play for Manchester United 2.5 seasons? The guy couldn't deliver. And it's not only Ten Hag. Under Oli, he didn't deliver. I didn't think he was good. He didn't live up to the price tag. And he was warranted criticism. Do we know the reasons? We don't. But the people now that keep saying that he should have stayed, guys, you're the same people that used to say Jadon Sancho needs to be benched. Some Man United fans now that say, look at this Jadon Sancho guy now. He's playing good football. You're the same guy who 2 years ago, not under Erik ten Hag, said, well, we might have been tricked here. He's not delivering for Man United. That's 2.5 years ago. People just like to backtrack. You know what I mean? Oh, my God, he looks so good. He wasn't good at Man United. He didn't deliver. He didn't win trophies. He didn't win the Premier League. He didn't win Player of the Month. And, like, he wasn't that good. Like, I'm going to give an example. As much as you criticize Bruno Fernandes, at the end, Bruno Fernandes delivers on the pitch. Chances created. As long as the team, even if the team is not playing well, Bruno Fernandes steps on the pitch, delivers. Jadon Sancho didn't deliver. But people just wanted Jadon Sancho to stay to spite Ten Hag. I felt like they just wanted him to stay to spite Ten Hag. That's it.
I think people just sometimes can't ever really just accept that in certain places in sports, in this instance, sometimes you're just wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. And I think with Sancho, the people that, you know, if Man United fans are saying, oh, you know, he should have stayed with us. Why didn't Ten Hag this? You wouldn't see this Sancho at Man United. I don't think you ever will, because obviously, Terry, and I think Mo, you pointed it out, Borussia Dortmund and Man United, different level clubs, different stature clubs, they conduct themselves very different. You know, at Borussia Dortmund, they have a core of Marco Reus, Hummels, Schlotterbeck. Kobel's been there a few years. They're consistent and quality professionals. And that's been something that's been criticized at Man United. The professionalism of Rashford, you know, Martial, I think, has been criticized for stuff like that. Maybe a Pogba. You know, whether it's fair or not, I don't really hear these kind of things about Borussia Dortmund. All you see and hear from Marco Reus, if you see an interview or posts on Twitter from Dortmund accounts or whoever in the Dortmund squad, they're not really causing drama. We look at them as consistent quality professionals, and they've been at Dortmund for a while. There's a club culture there. So I think this version of Sancho, I don't think will ever be at Manchester United personally. And I think for him, if I was him, I would be looking to move either on loan to Borussia Dortmund again or just go on a permanent, because I think maybe what Sancho needs to do is, the Premier League is great and all that. And you know, I like watching the league a lot. But at the same time, I feel like he should just be like, you know what? It's working at Borussia Dortmund. I could be a star player here. I could have a legacy. What are the chances of him having a legacy and being a superstar player for years to come at Borussia Dortmund? It's much more likely than at Man United for me. And I think
listen, and I look, there's a part of me that would love to see Jadon Sancho at United performing.
Right.
But there's also a part of me that feels, even if our environment is improving, there is that. I know he left Dortmund, but he left Dortmund in good terms. When you leave anything on bad terms, whether it's you, whether it's them, or a combination, is irrelevant. There's this phrase that was always taught to me as a kid, which is an X is an X for a reason. And going back, there might be a little honeymoon period, but all the old problems may start to surface. And some of it may not even be about Man United directly. You know, some of it just, we don't know what it is.
Some things are meant to be.
Maybe Sancho is suited as a person to live in Germany. Maybe that environment, that culture gets the best out of him. As an example, this is, a good friend of mine who's doing very well working in the city. He used to struggle with the way the life was, though. Randomly ended up in Thailand. He's now got a very good job in their version of the city out there, but he's thriving. He just said that he prefers that culture, that pace, whatever it may be, the way of life. It's helping him in his job. And it can be multiple things, some of them of which are intangible. But look, as I say, on the performance tonight, which I think matters a lot more than this. I do like this comment that says United didn't have any technical players. That's why he didn't look as good. So I would look at it the other way. If you're the only highly technical footballer in a team, you should stand out more, shouldn't you? It just didn't work for him for multiple reasons. I'm glad to see him doing well elsewhere. It is what it is.
I actually have a question before you do the super chat.
Go on, mate.
England national team now. What are we saying?
Look,
Euros.
It's a real interesting one because you've got Saka that's got that position on the right now down. Okay, we know that. Cole Palmer's season has been absolutely amazing. But when you think about the left-hand side, and I know he's playing on the right tonight, when you think about the left, Rashford, shocking season. Jack Grealish, shocking season by his standards. I know you've got Anthony Gordon. That's. Why do I think Anthony Gordon's Scottish? Because the name Gordon is such a Scottish name in England.
He could represent Scotland.
He could both, right? Okay, because the name Gordon is very Scottish. Yeah. But I always forget that he's English. Yeah. There is an outside chance. What I'm going to say is this, though. Forget my opinion. Forget your opinion. Southgate's not doing it. Southgate isn't going to do it.
I thought he liked it. I thought he liked him. He's one of his boys.
But Southgate's team, or one of the camps that before he joined Man United, had put out stuff around issues with his sort of dedication to training and stuff like that. That's where one of the stories here in the UK papers came from. So I don't necessarily think Sancho's big. And it was when Sancho was even at Dortmund and killing it, he still wasn't starting for England. And we all used to sit there as England fans saying, how can someone be killing it in the Bundesliga? And he was picking people that none of us really thought were on his level. But yeah, I don't think he'll make it. You've got Foden that's in the team that will probably start on the left. Bowen's part of the squad. Yeah, I don't think so. And again, I don't know how much of we saw with Tomori, how much of the Serie A was Southgate actually watching. Not very much of it. I don't know how much of the Bundesliga he's watching. You'll probably find not much of it either, to be fair.